Okay, we're starting here with lesson 1 of module 2. We're going through the content breakdown. Now we're breaking down these different types of content so you understand the different categories or types of things that you can share here on Instagram. The way I've categorized my own content and the way that I see other people what they could share, it breaks down into these 5 different categories, but this is not an exhaustive list. You can categorize your different types of content you share however you'd like. If you have certain things that you know resonate with your audience, you can make that its own category. But for me, I've broken this down into these different sections because that's what I've seen is effective here. So the first type of content that we're going to focus on is promotional content. This is your ask. Now you cannot have a feed that's entirely promotional. If all you're doing is talking about the things that you sell all the time and that is all, you're not going to get very far here on Instagram. People are smarter than that, and that is not what this platform is intended for. But it's definitely a big part of why we're here, right? If you're running a business or trying to build a personal brand, we're here to ask people to do something, to get their attention at the very least. So we still want to make sure we are promoting things that we sell, and so we're going to have a section of content devoted to promoting. The next type of content that I see people use here on Instagram is brand awareness content. It's sharing things to make people understand who you are. This is really great to make sure people discover you, so if they just come across one post, when they click over, you want to make sure they can see a lot of different posts. They're going to tell them exactly who you are and if you are a good fit for them. The next type, and I feel like it's the most important type, is giving value content. What are you sharing to get people to trust you and then commit to you because you sound like the expert in whatever you're talking about? And even if you're not, if you don't consider yourself an expert, still, what interests you and what can you do to give value to people that have the same interests as you? Even if you're something like a book blogger, like a literature blogger, and you're not selling anything per se, but you have a blog and you talk about the books that you read. What you could be doing to give value is giving people a list of love mysteries. Here's a list of 100 different mystery books that you would love. Or is it summertime? Here's a summer reading guide for you that you should go week by week and read these books. That is giving value to people. That is talking about books or even giving summaries of books or interviews with authors, things like that. That's still giving value to people even if you're not selling. The next type of content is partnership content, and that is shouting someone else out here on Instagram. It's either tagging them, it's tagging them in the copy, it's sharing a picture of something they shared, and I feel like this is the type of content that's going to propel you forward in your growth the most if you do this effectively. And the last type of content that I feel is imperative if you sell a product. It's user-generated content. It's content that someone else is posting about you and your products or you and what you sell. Even if it's just a service, it's someone talking about you. If you can get more people sharing their testimonials about you and the experience they had working with you, it is going to take your business farther than you ever thought possible. There are so many big brands that do this effectively. I talk about Freshly Picked moccasins all the time. You can find them at Freshly Picked on Instagram. They sell baby moccasins, and a huge bulk of the content that they share is of other people's photos that those people have shared on Instagram wearing their products, and that is a huge part of their strategy, is they want to shout out their customers and show their product in the wild. And even if you're not selling physical products, you could do this with digital products. I have a lot of people that tag me or I see are using the stock brand subscription images that I sell, and it's not a physical product, but they're using it in their posts. So it's smart of me to screenshot that and show proof that people love my images and they're sharing them in their own content. So let's talk about this breakdown. What are you going to share and when? What types of content? Now, I want you to keep this in mind. You don't have to use each of these different breakdowns all the time. You might not have any customers yet, so you can't do any user-generated content. Maybe you don't even have anything to sell right now, so you don't want to do promotional content either. Then you can just focus right now on brand awareness and giving value maybe, or the partnerships and do some shout-outs. Also, another thing to keep in mind, you can actually mix and match these. So even if you are promoting something, if you want to give value in the post as you're promoting something, that is the best practice you can do, is constantly be giving value in every post, but you definitely want to make sure you're focusing on that and putting in that value at least, intentionally, at least a good chunk of your content. A place I like to start with my own clients is I tell them to try to do 20% promotion, and I tell them to do 40% brand awareness and 40% giving value. Most people do not intentionally give value. Most people are just putting out pretty pictures or just showing themselves, and they're not doing anything to create a transformation for their audience. They're not doing anything that those people would value. They're just treating it like a photo gallery. That's why, especially in the beginning, I put a large emphasis on giving value. So I want to make sure it's going to have the bulk of your posts are going to be both brand awareness. So when people come across your feed, they know right away if you're a good fit. And then also giving value. They can look, and each post individually can stand on its own and create something of a change with it. Before you can really break it down, you need to understand how often you want to be posting. I always tell people you can commit to whatever you want, but consistency is key. So if you're gonna post once a day, that's fine. You're gonna post 7 times a week then, and you're gonna stay consistent with that. I would say at least a month, if not 3 months, stay consistent with that schedule. And after you get comfortable with that, you can assess and say, how did this work for me? Can I add more posts in? Was it too overwhelming? Do I need to take some away? So start with whatever you think you can manage, but I would absolutely say the more content you're putting out there, the faster you're gonna grow, and vice versa. If you can only commit to 3 times a week, that's okay, but just understand you're not gonna grow at the same rate as somebody as if you were gonna post 3 times a day. In this example, the person's gonna commit to 3 posts per day, and so that equals 21 posts a week, because if there's 7 days in a week, 3 posts per day, it comes out to 21 posts weekly. So they're gonna commit to posting in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, Monday through Sunday, every single week. So we're gonna break this down. Okay, so if they want to promote around 20% of the time, they're gonna do 4 posts. If they want to be putting out brand awareness content so people understand more about who they are and they commit to them and build that know, like, and trust factor, they're gonna post 6 times a week on that. If they want to give value and create that transformation for their audience, they're going to focus on creating 6 posts for giving value. Maybe they want to create partnerships and grow their influence in their industry. They want to do 3 partnership posts every. And lastly, maybe they do have customers and they know that they can get at least 2 posts per week of other people's content sharing about their product. So if you break it down like this, it seems a lot less overwhelming. All you need to do is reach out to 2 people every single week and create and get that content from them for user-generated content. You can reach out and DM them and ask, or if they're tagging you, then you can just go through your tagged images, screenshot them, and then share them, and that is your user-generated content for the week. Same thing for the partnership posts. Maybe you're planning ahead an entire month and you know you need 3 posts per week for partnership posts, so that means 3 times 4 weeks is 12. Then you need a total of 12 different partnership posts. So the beginning of the month, you can go and look through and you can find all of the people you want to create partnerships with. Again, either DM them or just screenshot some of their images if you want to go just kind of more stealth about it, and just start collecting those 12 different images and put them on your schedule. Looking at it visually like this makes it just feel so less daunting that you have to create, oh my gosh, 3 posts a day. It just sounds like a ton. But once you know that you only need this many of each type of post, it becomes easier to create. Now here's another example. Let's just say this person can only commit to 1 post per day. That means there's 7 posts a week they have to work with. So they don't really have anything they want to promote right now. So what they're really going to focus on at this time for the next 3 months, they're going to focus on giving value, creating partnerships, and really building that brand awareness because maybe they're brand new. So almost 60% of their posts are going to be dedicated to brand awareness. They want to start building relationships and foster trust within their industry, so they're going to create 1 post a week with partnerships, and then they're going to focus on the other 2 posts that they have left on giving value. So it's a little bit less daunting. You're like, oh my gosh, what can I share that's going to create a transformation with somebody? You only have to think about that twice a week, and that really does make it less scary. If you need a little more help trying to figure out what your content breakdown is going to be, there's a worksheet that you can download below, and it'll help you understand what stage of business are you in, what are your goals, and then that's going to dictate the different breakdowns you're going to choose. Now let's move on to lesson 2 so we can figure out the different themes we're going to choose.